What is up, everyone? A quick disclaimer before we jump into this episode. Due to a technical issue, my audio recorded through my headset mic instead of my actual mic. Please excuse my audio and have fun. Enjoy this interview. Yo, guys, welcome back to another episode of Sludge Underground. I've got a guest all the way from Cape Town here. Guys, introduce yourselves and what it is you do.
Okay, so I'm Yilo from Pages. I do the vocals and guitar work.
I'm Caitlin. I'm the drummer for Pages.
And I am Frank, and I play bass for Pages.
Sick. And you guys are a doom band.
Well, it's a
few
mixture of a
things,
couple
yeah.
of things, yeah. But like Doom, I think Doom is kind of like something that gives it more of an umbrella term because I mean, like, there's a lot of influences that's also quite like from the heavy side. So some black metal influences or some death metal influences, sludge, atmospheric noise,
Post-metal as
post
well.
metal.
Yeah.
It's a big one. Yeah, but we kind of just blanked it because of the pace of the songs is like quite slow and sludgy, so we kind of like use doom as like a broad term for what we're doing.
I definitely got the black metal influences as well when I was listening to the music, like the releases that you guys have done, and especially like the music video as well also gives me like heavy like black metal vibes. So at least it doesn't sound like it was recorded in a shed in the woods, so that's probably disqualifies it as black metal to begin with. Besides,
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure.
like it actually has possible production, so it's not
Yeah, yeah, no, thanks to Fuzzy from Sound Emotion Studios. Like, yeah, it was like really cool working with him, and such like a opportunity that like almost is unreal for us to be able to have done that with him. Yeah, from a production side at least, it was pretty cool.
off the rip, like even just like an initial glance at your guys' music, at your socials, and like the art and stuff that you've put out, you guys are a very like symbolic band. There's a lot of like, if everything looks very intentional, everything looks very like there's a definite message and a symbolism behind like everything that you guys do. Am I right in saying that?
What is the symbolism there?
Yeah, that's quite accurate.
And then like the album cover is the life cycles of a daisy, if I'm not mistaken.
Dandelion.
A dandelion. Fuck, sorry. So it's like the life cycle of a dandelion. Why that choice?
We kind of feel like the dandelion is like a misunderstood plant. It has so many like health benefits, but it's like considered a weed and it's very resilient. So resilience was the main sort of theme of the album, as much as it sounds very
gloomy,
gloomy, and it's talking about despair and grief. It's also talking about how can we be resilient, and I think that's where like the title comes from as well. Whether it's through doing things you can, whether it's through creating stuff, just being different, like being yourself really, and that can be enough sometimes. And the idea is that, I guess, through spreading community, which is kind of like the pluses or the plus signs in the Pages name as well, kind of like expresses that inclusivity as well. So we definitely want like our gigs or our shows to be inclusive. We want people to feel welcome, and we would really like to as well just build a community of people who feel like-minded as well. Yeah, regardless of genre of music.
And then also like one of the other symbolic parts of the dandelion is it like does this thing of effortlessly spreading. So it is this weed that people want to get rid of, but like without any thought, like the wind basically just takes those seeds and it puts it anywhere. Then the next year you'll have like hundreds more of those, So that's kind of like the idea of what we wanted to bring with that perception, is like just being able to plant the seed and effortlessly just like kind of existing your truth and making sure that like, that kind of gets heard so that something else can come from it eventually in the future, like, hopefully from other generations or younger people or like, anything in that kind of like spectrum.
It's like a shockingly like wholesome message considering like the nature of the music. And like I think that's always something that catches people off guard about like metal or heavier music in general. Like because you don't like a lot of like doom, like anything that's kind of defined as doom is often very like nihilistic. And it's a really like interesting like contrast to the general like nature of the genres, at least as far as I'm aware, and the music within that genre that I've interacted with. So that's really cool. I really like that.
No, basically, I was just going to add, like, that element of what you're hearing and the juxtaposition of the message is like
And the
that
vision.
message and
Yeah.
the vision is like is an embodiment of hope, right? But the music itself, the sound, is like the actual existence that we live in. It's like the two juxtaposed things where it's like you can't kind of control some of these things, like, that are extremely hard to deal with in reality. And the music kind of like tries to portray that, where the message is like trying to be like, we live in this, we acknowledge it, you know, but we trying to kind of like rise above it in some way or another.
And like respect to people who've come before us who've been resilient and have figured out how they could survive a period of time or something like tough that they had to personally go through. So it's kind of an acknowledgement that some people had to make that decision to just keep going, even if it felt like impossible to.
I was also gonna just add like a lot of stuff that you mentioned. What would be traditionally like aesthetic like signifiers of doom. I think like it's I think on first glance you might recognize that while listening, but I think overall it is you know overcoming and staying on par and staying on message. Yeah, which I think, yeah, like you said, is positive. But I think, yeah, a lot of I think on first glance, people have um, communicated that nihilism is something that they do pick up from that. But I think beyond that, it is a lot about resilience. Yeah.
It's like a message of we'll overcome adversity, but it's not going to be easy. Like it's going to be like I love like those type of like messages. I've a completely different genre, but like I've spent a lot of time listening to a band called Hot Mulligan this year, and it's also got that sort of like you said, the juxtaposition of where the music sounds really happy, but the lyrical content is like borderline a suicide note.
All right.
Like I am exaggerating, but it's like it also tackles a lot of like mental health feelings and stuff like that. But it sounds like some of the happiest go lucky music you've ever heard type of deal. I love those type of contrasts personally.
Yeah, just as important, definitely.
And I find it very often to just be like a lot of the time those sort of elements are very deliberate. Like uh, it's very rare that something like that happens by accident.
Yeah, no, definitely an intentional thing. Yeah.
And then like touching on the name of pages, the plus signs threw me off a little bit. Like when Warren initially introduced me to the band, like my first thought, is this an acronym for something? But you touched on it earlier, like with it, the plus signs kind of symbolizing, inclusivity and stuff like that. So it's not an acronym, is it?
No, 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 no. It's Pages. It actually derives from a previous name that we had for the band.
Morning pages.
Yeah, we used Morning Pages before, and that was like from 2014 till about 20. I mean, like until recently, till just before we put this album out. So when we put this album out, we decided to change the name because of like, a bunch of things that we felt was, I guess, apt for the change, because like we're changing our sound slightly. I mean, we still have a lot of like those influences in the music, but we kind of went on a different trajectory sonically, like, just as like how it sounds.
So we went from like more post rock, which kind of was the writing exercise that the Morning Pages was based on, which was from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way book, and that's just kind of mind clearing exercise where you write 3 pages a day, and it was quite improvised and also noise based. And then that's around 2017 is when we shifted. We had a lot of influences from like Canite and Burning Witch. It became a lot more heavier, and it feels also more like, I guess, like we've always had like a kind of esoteric element to it, so that, as well as we just really like the idea of the tarot pages, where it's like new beginnings or a catalyst for change, and we thought that also felt apt with that shift as well.
I just want to like clarify. You're saying morning pages, like, is it morning as in like good morning, or morning as in like grieving?
No, like morning pages, like, because I think it's a exercise that when you wake up in the morning, you have a book and you just free write. Like, you don't really stop or think about what you want to write. You just put it down in a page or whatever, close the book, and there you go.
Don't look at it.
So it's like a morning exercise, and that's where the name came from. And I think the way that we were using, I think Caitlin had just said now, like, yeah, I think you mentioned it now, where that element of like improvisation through music is like part of where we kind of like use that name from, or where we thought, okay, cool, that's an interesting way to go about it. So the music is almost like you kind of, yes, cathartic, and you come into the space in that moment to do the thing that you're going to do, and kind of like leave it behind as you finish.
Okay, that's like I've never heard of that like as an exercise before, so I just had to clarify that as well. Something that caught my attention is the art behind you guys. Is that like your art, or
Yes.
Yeah.
So I forgot to say when we were introducing ourselves that all three of us are artists as well.
So like all of the stuff on this side, this is all my stuff. This big one over here is Caitlin.
that's so sick.
Yeah, behind, and then there's a couple of pieces that's just over there on that side. That's mine.
So yeah, we also created the visuals for the album. We do the social media, so any photographs, any videos, except the music video, we collaborated with 2 other artists for. But yeah, overall we're taking photos. We're there doing band pics with a tripod, and he was there,
like a countdown timer.
running between the 10-second timer and trying to strike a quick pose in the moment.
I mean, I think that's like, part of what this project is also, is like this creative expression that's just not just music. It's like the visual aspect of it has a lot to do with what it is. Yeah, like, I think because we all have like that element of art background or design background, film background or whatever, we kind of just keep it in-house a lot of the time, except for like Caitlin was saying now, when we did the music video, we worked with 2 people that we've been friends with for a long time.
Louise
And
Oscar.
Yeah, Louise Kitsia, Oscar Ryan, and they've been doing their thing. Like, she's the choreographer and he's doing DOP work, like, filming. And yeah, like, it was so cool to be able to work with them separately to what we're doing, like, visually, and like have other people's kind of input on it, which was a really cool experience. Yeah.
So kind of help us bring an idea to life, because like
Yes.
the whole, the creativity behind it and the costumes and
Yeah.
any props, the pyro that we had to do, that was all us too. So we took on a lot for that music video as well.
Yeah, just as the band itself. Yeah.
That's actually like that's incredible. Like it just gives me the vibe of like you guys have a not only how it sounds but how it looks like mentally as well. And like I feel like the genre of the music that you guys are doing is also the only way that I could really describe it is like visceral. Like it's it is a very I want to say like a visual thing. It's very it definitely puts me like in a kind of like a daydream state as well. So like it makes a lot of sense at the same time. I just find it really cool. Like this is what happens when a bunch of like artists get together and make music, not just like musical artists, but so that's actually a really cool concept as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like we're saying, with the first rendition of this project, we've been working with like various people throughout the years, and that kind of was like always one of the main things. I mean, like, we didn't even do like band. Yeah, like this is like a new thing for us to be able to be like, oh, let's be out there, like, as individuals, like, it always used to be like shadows, projections, other things that, like, kind of like give the mood of the story. So
You used to do a lot of stop motion animation as well,
and all of that stuff, but I think that was all like, to give the feeling of like having this cinematic quality to the project, and I think that was also something that we kind of just kept taking through. So even though we've becoming more like, public about who we are and stuff like that in the band. I think, yeah, that cinematic thing has always been like almost one of the first, like one of the main priorities, second to the music. So those two are like like the main two things that we would kind of like work towards.
That's why it was like we really appreciate having been able to work with Simon, because Simon works in film and TV and was able to understand, especially the Ascension song, where it's a softer, more like soundscape cinematic song. And yeah, we felt like you really captured that very well, like all the aspects of it and all the subtleties that we were trying to create.
No, that's incredible. Like, I heard Caitlin mention that you used to like stop motion. I personally love like stop motion, like animations. It's like one of my favorite like mediums of animation in general.
Oh, cool.
And then also because like as far as I'm aware, it's extremely hard for like AI to replicate that style of animation, which makes me even happier.
Really? Oh, that's cool. That's good to know.
Nice to know.
As far as I'm aware, like it really struggles, like because it's such a nuanced like type of animation, it really like kind of struggles with it. So, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can understand. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I am in a very anti AI phase of my life at this point. So
Yeah,
No, I
I'm
think
sure
we
you
can all
guys
be
are
on
as
that.
well.
Yeah, no.
100% agree.
Fuck that shit.
Sweet. I'm glad we're on the same page. Like, excuse the pun, but like it's entirely unintentional. But yeah, so like it really like blows my mind, and you can like when I watched your guys' music video a little while back, the thing that came to mind was like, damn, like this is an experience. It's like tell me a little bit more about the message behind not only that song but that music video as well.
well, we trying with the idea was kind of to ritualize the idea of purging negativity or toxicity that doesn't really work anymore. So I think like how would that look in a ritual setting? So with the three dances and with the fire as well as the dolls signifying almost purging. How we go about moving forward using talents and resources in a way to avoid going down the same path. Yeah, using the idea of symbols like you mentioned, it's quite a symbolic experience of fire and purification and yeah, basically purging what we would deem toxic or unhelpful.
No, I love that. Like that's like I'm a very like unassuming is the wrong word. Like I tend to keep like a lot of like my interpretations of those things to myself because I'm always terrified of like, I wonder if like I've completely misinterpreted that. And but yeah, like I really like the message behind that. It's incredibly well done. You guys mentioned that it was something that was done by like a friend of yours. It was choreographed by a friend, and it's incredible that like, I'm assuming you guys also had a lot of input in terms of how it was done. I read somewhere, Caitlin, that you did ballet like in the earlier stages of your life, and
Yeah.
like how much of it did that like influence how this music video came through?
I mean, I did ballet from the age of 5 until I was 16, 17. Um, I didn't, think I could do it professionally. I didn't think I was good enough, but I always loved dance, and I really love like what Louise Coetzee does creatively, and in South Africa, I think she makes very, very unique choreography. It's more contemporary, but she doesn't mind fusing different styles together. So sometimes it'll be a bit balletic, but it's also like what she does incorporates a lot of musicians in South Africa, a lot of alternative music, and I mean we get along. I think we like pretty much a lot of the same music as well. We could sit and talk about music
Similarities, yeah.
easily, like Porter said, and even though sometimes she maybe has some more electronic sounding music, it's quite dark.
Yeah, no, sensibility is definitely on like a, yeah, like on a darker tip, like,
Mm.
like just, I guess, challenging the human experience and kind of like commenting on that, the human experience in different like stages, I guess,
and
of
usually with
time.
technology as well.
Mm.
So questioning that as well, and I really, I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just like there's an immediate like resonance. I got so excited, like in the music video, there's like this backbend that Tamsin Pretorius does. She's the dancer in the middle, and it just felt like she got it. She knew what we were trying to do. We wanted to create this ritual with witches, and she immediately, I don't know how to explain it. She just knew, like, yeah, these hand movements are perfect with these really like long nails that Oscar had suggested we do as well, and just like I don't know, it just felt like really a perfect kind of collaboration.
I mean, like we didn't even like we didn't have any kind of like major ideas for what she would bring to the table. I think we just had like a rough idea as to like, the premise of the thing, how many dances we might need, and kind of like the mood of it.
What was the term that you used to explain like the timeline?
I have no
Where it's
idea.
like the almost like the blocking of things for the narrative. There was that at least.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like working on the storyboard, I guess, like, would be the idea, like, and just the ideas, but like what she brought is entirely like her, vision on it, or her take on what it is that we wanted. And I think our main brief was like literally just to be like, we want to have this fire ritual in the middle of nowhere, and it has to have like this kind of like witchcrafty feel to it, and like have this very, I guess, tribal element to it, like, very visceral kind of feeling as
A lot
well.
of stomping in the
Yeah,
beginning.
so she
And
took
yeah.
that and she just ran with it. Yeah.
So it almost has like a horror element to it, but then it's also, I don't know, very beautiful and delicate at the same time. Yeah, it's an interesting combination.
That's actually incredible. Like, I really like it. It's really nice when someone just gets it. Like, it makes the whole process just so much easier, and it also just flows better. And it's also like it's incredibly apparent when the people that you are working with just get your vision, and for it to happen on sort of so many levels. Like, when talking about, even when recording music, if you have a producer who understands your sound, understands your vision, and is able to enhance that, like, it can make such a big difference to the overall project. It can be absolutely incredible. And then something else that I wanted to touch on with you guys is the physical media side of things. And obviously, physical media is so rare these days in general, and you guys just went like all in. You've got like an LP, like a record out as well, for this release. What was the kind of the thought process behind that? Does that come down to also, once again, just because you're all artists and that type of like physical media is really important to you? Walk me through that a bit.
That decision, I think we made that because, yeah, like I think that physical feeling of having something in your hand, it's more than just music again. It becomes like, okay, this like physical experience, or this visual, yeah, this artifact that you have, that you can kind of almost like call on, and it's like it's physical, you can feel it. And I think also what we wanted to do was that with that was like, um I don't know, it just felt like the right thing to do, because we were doing this for so long, like in the shadows, like, being an underground band, doing noise music, doing atmospheric noise and all of that stuff, and doing it this way. We decided like, okay, we want to put something out physically, but we didn't want to do a CD, um, necessarily, because I mean, you could just get the digital album. We wanted to look into CD, but I think that was just like, okay, shit, budget doesn't allow to do both of those things. And then we kind of just went with the LP because yeah, like, I don't know, the scale of it, the sound of it, the whole experience of having that vinyl, I think is like a different thing, like, yeah.
Also,
So no.
a lot of the bands that were really influenced by have put out vinyl, and it's always like such a beautiful thing to see how they've made artwork. And I think the size of it allows for such like immersion in the art, but also it's just something we felt like we've wanted to do for a long time and admired in like that the other bands have done.
Mm.
Also, like with the idea of having a physical, item that can also serve as a, another vehicle for, continuing the narrative and continuing like the, the bigger art expression beyond just like the music. So they, with there's like the cover that is quite, also just points down to the same like storytelling, as well as the posters and the pictures, and it's quite an experience that goes beyond just like the audio. So it was just another nice way of translating that as well.
It makes the album like an audio visual experience type of deal. I really enjoy that. Like this past weekend, Gast had CDs for sale, which was like something that I haven't seen in ages. I was like, oh fuck yeah, you guys have got CDs? Hell fucking yeah! I don't have anything that can play a CD anymore, but I fucking want one.
No, but that's the whole thing. Like, these, like, I mean, we got a couple of records here, and like we won't pull them out to actually put them on the player or a player to listen to them, because we got the stuff digitally. But it's like it literally just puts you in a different headspace, like, oh, like there's this art now with it, and like like this booklet or whatever comes
Yeah,
with it,
nice
and
little extras.
yeah, so like that's pretty cool to hear that they put out the CD. That's nice.
Conversations actually made me realize that I am more equipped to listen to records than I am to CDs, which is a fucking wild thought. Because like I now that I'm thinking about it, I have nothing in my house that could play a CD. Like my computer, like most modern PCs don't have
Yeah.
even space for CD drivers anymore, and nothing else in the house. Like I could probably chuck it in the PlayStation, that might work. But like beyond that, like I have a record player, like it would just be easier to throw it on that. It's actually really funny to think about, like the cycles that we've gone through. Actually,
No, totally. Yeah. Do you have a cassette player?
no, that I don't have. I would love to get my hands on a cassette player. I think my mother-in-law actually has a radio with a cassette player. Now that I think about it,
Oh, cool.
I'll actually go over and check that. They've got this old like hi-fi stereo in their place. Yeah, have a look at it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me. I've really enjoyed this. I really enjoy how you guys are running through this, just the overall vision of this project, and like the message behind it as well. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you guys. Where can people find you?
So people can find us on Bandcamp. Um, and you just search it the same way that the name is, pages with the pluses in
Pluses.
between, and you'll find us there. Instagram, pages_doom. And
YouTube pages_doom.
yeah, that's YouTube as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I think those are like the main places that
That's
people
it.
can find us. And then I guess if you want to message us, you can just DM us directly, and somebody will get back to you.
Yeah, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.